On Saturday, it's a big one, but from today onwards, before the game of football is played or the match preview is being brought into you by me on this channel, I'll first and foremost get you what we call the charge. How players of Man United have gone ahead, obviously train ahead of the game of Everton. We know they really have one more training to see to it that they obviously do the needful. Remember that having played on Sunday, I think the manager let them rest for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday they arrived at Carrington evening to do some light and some running around that was really light. Thursday has been really hard. They've been running around and obviously preparing for the game of Everton that we're going to be playing on the weekend. It's going to be the early Kickstarter, and you know what that means. The early Kickstarter calls in for some energy from the players of Man United. So welcome to this channel. This is the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's really very important to note that we've gone ahead not to really do any video today. Apart from this is the first one, and I think the second one is gonna come, and the third one will come in through later, because we believe that you guys are gonna be ready, steady for the videos that we are gonna be uploading in here. So let's see how you guys are doing, and let's get straight into the preparations for Erik ten Hag and the players of Man United as they charge up for the game of Everton. But the Muslims, Barakallahu fikum, the Christians, we thank God for the gift of life, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. And this is Rokan David. You can as well call me already. Let's start it off and see which players were in the training session for now. There is Casemiro. Ever since his return, he has not gone ahead to have a bad game according to me, though he is not yet at that level where he was last season. But I think he's one of the best performing players at the club of Man United. And you saw to it out that when he was taken out when playing Fulham, after he really got a head injury, he found himself out and the team of Man United went ahead to lose. And I went ahead to obviously come out and blame Erik ten Hag for not really getting in Amrabat instead of Eriksen, because when you look at the second goal that we concede, it's Eriksen that comes in through to obviously fail to really mark this foul, to foul this guy, that is Ahmad Traore, and he went ahead obviously go past Harry Maguire, and the rest was history. So for me, Casemiro, he's really a very good player that I've gone ahead obviously assess at the club of Man United, and I know he's fit for the game of Everton. Then Scott McTominay, Amrabat in the mix, doing the needful to see to it that obviously do that don't drop down the ball activity. As Amrabat really looked on, this is really very important to watch on. And Scott McTominay is one of the highest goal scorers of Man United. I think has like 7 Premier League goals, tied with Rasmus Højlund, who is sick and is expected maybe to be part of the game of Everton very, very soon. That is Scott McTominay doing the needful for the club of Manchester United. And Amrabat was really looking on, really having a very terrible coming in at the club of Man United, and that is the problem of really having Amrabat in when he never had a preseason and was really injured. All these problems, all these problems point at the incompetency of the board of Man United, because when a player is not going to have a preseason, you need to sign him early. It's always good to sign in a player who's going to head to have a preseason late. You saw to it that even Rasmus Højlund until now is still suffering from injuries because he never had a pre-season that was really perfect. Then we got to Marcus Rashford smiling, and he's one of those players that missed out on playing 90 minutes against Man City, and he was really substituted and taken off. But we had a worry coming in from the manager that the player was really injured, and later I brought a story coming in through from the United Insider that he just got a knock and is going to be really up and running for the coming game of Manchester United. Anthony is one of those in the mix that is really trying to run left, right and center and put in a shift that is really well required for the club of Man United, and he was really brought on, but his impact was not felt when you're playing against Man City. Marcus Rashford is all smiles as it stands right about now. Then this is Casemiro, Rafael Varane, Diego Dallo and McLaren watching along. huge experience in here for you, especially Casemiro and Rafael Varane. These are two players that I don't believe we should lose at once. These are two players we shouldn't lose at once. Though some people have gone ahead and said we should lose these players and they should leave the club of Man United and go, you know, and we get in young, fresh players. I think for Rafael Varane, if we get into central defenders, he should leave. But if you release Varane, who is 30, how do you keep Harry Maguire, who is 31? Because Rafael Varane is a better player than Harry Maguire, and I think that pair should live together. And I will be very much perturbed if at all Man United goes ahead to release Varane and keeps Harry Maguire around. That will be really hard, because if at all it's all about the money issue, Harry Maguire also earns £200,000, and his quality does not really match that level. You know, Rafael Varane earns 300. I think is it 330,000 a week, but you see what he does on the field of play, and he's really a very good player. So these experienced players should be kept here for some time, and I think for Man United, I keep Rafael Varane here for a full season, you know, and see what happens. For Casemiro, he's one of those I don't want to see go. I don't want to see him go, because I know he still has a lot to offer to the team of Man United. Experience is really needed and is paramount, and I have a story I'm really building on Casemiro, why he should start the club of Man United, and you people will really love it, that I'm going to really put up very, very soon. Then Diego Dallo, obviously, he's one of those that has going to hit the ground running ever since Ten Hag came in through from last season, even this season. But he's really good, and I think the injuries are going to hit to have the club of Man United, are going to hit to affect him left, right, and center. Then Anthony, trying to obviously do the needful. He got himself a chance to really go into the starting 11 and playing Nottingham Forest over the weekend. He came up and played some 27 minutes for the club of Man United, and he knows this is his last season. By the way, he has to pull they call it what? To pull a hat out of the what? Let me see that idiom. Pull a hat. He has to pull a hat out of the rabbit. That is it, for him to really keep himself at the club of Man United. Because if he doesn't, then I don't see his future at Man United really bright. But we wait to see how he's really going to perform. Against Man City, he came on and he really had not a good go at all. But at Nottingham Forest was really good. Now the youngsters, Willy Kambwala, who came on through and really played some minutes or replaced John Evans, and John Evans was really injured. Then Amad Diallo, one of those that is not getting enough playing time at the club of Man United, that is known by very many people, and this is Alejandro Garnacho, who has gone ahead to offer himself for the club of Man United and really put in a very good shift, and that is what United is really having on stake. And those players are really doing lots and lots of things that have gone ahead, obviously put United into the best way possible. But it shows you that the future of Man United is really possible. So, are really very important to see to it that a lot really comes in through to do the needful. But for Garnacho, a given that is going to start. Amad Diallo and Kambwala are really doubts of starting. But all in all, I would love to see Amad Diallo really getting some minutes against Everton. I don't know how Ten Hag is going to do it, but he needs those minutes. Diego Dallo, player who has going to hit obviously be consistent this season, and I think if all goes well, he's really going to compete for the best player of Man United this season. You know, at the end of the season, I would be shocked if at all he was not going to be among the highly voted, because if you're going to hate to notice, every month, every end of the month award for the club of Man United, Dallo has obviously gone ahead to feature hugely in there. Rashford was behind him really smiling. Rafael Varane at the Rolls Royce, a man who doesn't really try to speak a lot, but he speaks with actions, and we really love what he puts up every time. That is Rafael Varane. Then Kobe Mainoo, sensational talent. You know, he's just a sensation when you watch him play. Happiness of him on the field of play. And with these players, the youngsters, Garnacho, Kambwala, Amad Diallo, Rasmus Højlund, Kobe Mainoo, is where I tie my reasoning that Erik Ten Hag should not go. He should be left to groom these youngsters, because he has shown us that he's willing to get more youngsters from the academy, and that is the identity of the club. We all know that United goes ahead to get in young talent and really fronts it at the foremost of the club football in Europe. Kobe Mainoo, his size has gone ahead to play a huge part into all what Ten Hag has gone ahead to get him in the team, and that's why I've always told you that Zidane Igbo, by the way, was a better talent than Kobe Mainoo, but Zidane Igbo was really tiny, and he had no signs that he's going to become one of the best physical players. But Kobe Mainoo was physical, tall, and huge, and at a tender, all at a young age. 15, 16, he was really showing his muscular levels. Amad Diallo smiling. One of those players that fans of United are really crying for him to obviously get enough playing time, and we think Ten Hag is going to do it because the boy is looking sharp in training. Now, if Ten Hag went ahead to really get Fosun Omari into the starting 11 as United is playing against Fulham, it's high time he did it for Amad Diallo, because Diallo is looking sharp in the training sessions for Man United. Ethan Whitley, obviously one of the academy stars, trying to obviously look on as he really took part into the first training session of Man United. And the reason as why Ten Hag is really getting these youngsters in hugely, because he wants to obviously make a decision, on who should leave and who should stay. Believes all these youngsters that are not showing potential to deserve to start or to deserve to come and compete into the first team of Man United, or get alone outside the club of Man United, should really leave. And we should cleanse that entire academy and get in more and more other players. That's why you sort of it that very many have gone ahead to be let out every summer transfer window. Alejandro Garnacho, the Argentinian egg, who has really shown us that when he's playing on the right, he really plays good. On the left, it's really lacking a little bit for him. Andre Onana, goalkeeper for Man United, shaming everyone who thought that he couldn't obviously make it. You get? Good goalkeeper, and is really dirt. Then the combination Kobe Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho, and one is missing. You know him very well. That is Rasmus Højlund because of injury, but we got a story that he's expected to be fit for the game of Everton. Then these two are really friends, and Ten Hag is going to hit to couple them together, telling them that you should really keep together because you are all in the same age and you should really love one another. Scott McTominay, the Scottish assassin, has come out and really done the needful for himself to keep himself in the contention to start for the club of Man United. But we all understand what he does, and I don't believe that is the perfect midfielder that we should be having at the club of Man United, because we need better. If they tell you Scott McTominay and this guy, what is his name? Scott McTominay and Onana of Everton. Who do you go with? I think I go with Onana. And there are very many other midfielders, the Ebelechi, Eze's, that really are doing a better job. Lemina, who plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I would on any day bring in Lemina other than Scott McTominay, though he has gone ahead to do a job. Lewis Jackson, another academy player, taking part in the training sessions of Man United. And then Lindelof, ice-cold Lindelof, is really part of this training session and went ahead to really enjoy himself better and better. Then this was Koyela. Koyela is one of those that have gone ahead to make the match squad, I think now thrice, for the club of Man United. He's a midfielder, and when we look at his structure, it shows you that he can easily get into the team of Ten Hag. Look at his height and his structure. He's really a muscular guy, tall, and I think is just 20 years of age, but his performances have gone ahead to impress Eric Ten Hag to really coming through and do the job. Then Habib Oguneye, this is a left back that has been hinted onto several times that anytime from now, if the left backs of United delay returning, he might really get into the mix to play as a left back. And we're going to hit to see him making too much squads. Against Nottingham, he traveled with Man United, he made it to the bench, and against Man City, he made it to the bench as a left back for the club of Man United. And lastly, Kobe Mainoo. This is sensational, fantastic player that we've all gonna hate to love and like. So guys, that's how United prepared for the game of Everton. Now I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about their charge as a team of Man United and what your thoughts are about them. So, may the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Juma Karim, because in my country it's just hours to Friday. Go ahead and say your prayers to Allah and the rest will be history. Rokan David is my name. I sign out. Ciao, ciao.